And Rachel Zegler, being 23 or whatever she is, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infantada is the only global solution. So the two stars hate each other.
She's an asshole. So she came out and took a large dump on half of the country.
Every way that Disney changed the story, it changed it for the worse.
I wanted my money back. It was very disappointing.
Hello, Disney, you're gonna have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
You didn't hire a big name actress in the lead, right? Nobody knows who the hell Rachel Zegler is.
They're pretending like Rachel Ziegler is the first of them all when she looks like Lord Farquaad in the film.
It bombed its opening weekend at the box office and is on pace to be the biggest Disney live-action flop that they've ever seen.
They're leaning into woke. Hardcore.
They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
In all of her comments on Instagram, everyone is roasting her. Everyone is calling her out for her being one of the key players for why this movie is failing as badly as it is.
Now, I'm guessing that she's not married. I'm guessing that she doesn't have kids. The movie is a complete disaster, by the way.
What do you get when a self-satisfied actress and a heavy-handed agenda sink their teeth into a Disney legend? A $200 million train wreck called the live-action Snow White. And wow, it flopped harder than anyone imagined.
163,000 rating, of which it got 1.6, not out of 5. Like, you know, sometimes you go to McDonald's, it's 1.6 out of 5. Yeah. 1.6 out of 10.
Vinny, you know what that is?
How bad is that?
This wasn't just a flop. It was a perfect example of how to drive fans away and clear out theaters. Rachel Ziegler, the outspoken star with more attitude than talent, joined forces with Disney's extreme changes to make sure this remake crashed harder than anyone thought possible.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again.
Disney gambled on a $150 million opening weekend, hoping nostalgia and Ziegler's so-called star power would rake it in. And what did they actually get? A sad, embarrassing $43 million haul in the US. Total disaster. That's a full-blown catastrophe. Fans stayed away in droves, empty seats, dead silence, and not a single line in sight. Why? Because Ziegler's rude behavior had people running for the exits. She openly mocked the beloved 1937 classic, calling it weird and outdated in 2022 interviews.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Acting like she was too good for it. Then she lit the fire again with her 2024 Trump rant.
May Trump supporters and Trump himself never know peace. Yeah. What the F?
Megyn Kelly clapped back, "Fire this brat," and calls to boycott exploded across X. Ziegler's entitled attitude made her a walking red flag. "She's the reason I'm skipping it," one fan tweeted. "Can't stand her. Disney bet big on her so-called woke appeal selling tickets, but it ended up costing them millions."
So you're not spending a lot of money on the actors. The special effects are trash. Where's the money going? How is it? What are you spending it on?
Disney didn't just remake Snow White. They tore it apart with a woke agenda. No one asked for a reboot of the 1937 classic. A charming story about a kind princess, a brave prince, and 7 unforgettable dwarfs. The 2025 version, a preachy, unrecognizable mess that barely echoes the original.
And then they couldn't put dwarfs because this is just so typical of the left. The progressives always think the most progressive thing would be get people jobs, and dwarfs want to work.
Back in 2022, Ziegler proudly bragged, "We didn't do that love story crap. It's about her fighting her own battles."
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
She smirked like she was saving some broken antique. And the prince, once the hero, he got downgraded to a random, barely there character, totally sidelined and forgotten.
Prince Charming, in the traditional fairy tale and in the 1937 movie, has been replaced by a common criminal.
The evil queen's envy of Snow White's beauty totally watered down into some bland, vague power struggle. Disney's execs went all in on modern messaging, ripping out the romance and magic that made the original unforgettable. And those new songs? An absolute train wreck from start to finish.
They say all you have to do to make your wish come true
The 1937 classic gave us unforgettable hits like Hi-Ho and Someday My Prince Will Come, catchy, timeless songs that stuck with generations. The remake's soundtrack? A chaotic mess that doesn't match the vibe at all. It's like they weren't even trying. One of the new songs.
It's got extra musical numbers that are incredibly unnecessary that really add to that runtime, and let me go ahead and let you know that they're absolutely f***ing atrocious.
Mirror's Lie is just a moody rant from the Queen that drags on endlessly. And not even Godot's voice can save it. Fans on YouTube tore it to shreds. What is this garbage? One top comment read. Another nailed it. Snow White's a musical, not a lecture hall. But Ziegler hyped them up in 2023, saying they're modern, not corny. Her woke ego was loud and clear. Like the old songs were beneath her. Even the critics agreed. The songs clashed with the story, feeling way too heavy and painfully forced. Nobody's humming these flops.
Her going, we need to change. No, you don't. It's not your job. Your job is to entertain. You are paid to entertain. That's what this is. Also, it's very disturbing.
They're forgettable at best. The whole tone? Way too woke. Like a feminist sledgehammer smashing every bit of the original magic. It didn't feel empowering, it just felt forced. Men really got the worst of it. The prince was turned into a background extra, barely there and totally stripped of charm. Ziegler even called him a stalker back in 2022, and Disney actually ran with that. And the dwarfs? Now they're just tired workers, stuck laboring while Snow White dishes out lectures on inner strength.
Now you wash the dishes, you tidy up the room, you clean those cobwebs, and he'll use the broom. Whistle while you work. And cheerfully together we can tidy up the place.
In the original Snow White, she cleans the cottage after woodland animals take her there. When she learns the 7 dwarves live there, she offers to cook and clean the place for them as a sign of her gratitude. But in this one, she breaks in and then forces the dwarves to clean for her. So clearly the Barbie screenwriter they hired to write this film thinks that this is a clever kind of role reversal. Funny that making a feminist version of a character always means, in practice, just turning her into an unpleasant, unlikable nag.
The modern empowered Snow White won't even allow domestic labor carried out by herself. Instead, she orders the dwarves to tidy up themselves, even when they've had a hard day down the mine.
It's their house.
But it's so obvious now because of the blight of intersectionality that's spread throughout our entire society that we can't have a woman holding a broom. Not that Rachel Zegler would know what to do with a broom other than fly on.
What happened to the heart of the story? The entire film practically screams, men are the problem. Ziegler pushed that message hard, gushing in interviews. This isn't about some guy saving her. She acted like the original story was garbage just for having a hero. Fans were furious. Where's the teamwork? The heart? It was all drowned out by nonstop girl boss energy, and not nearly enough fairy tale magic.
People know her name because they know her as that annoying, loudmouth feminist actress who worked hard for 2 years to tank her own movie.
Disney ditched the dwarfs and went full CGI. Magical creatures unite, they said. But what we got were strange, glowing figures that looked like knockoff avatars from a budget video game. Then came the real kicker. These creatures were shown doing all of Snow White's chores. Cooking, cleaning, everything, while she just lounged around. Strike 2 came with the 2024 reshoots. Disney reworked the creatures again, turning them into a diverse bandit crew who, surprise, still did all the grunt work. Strike 3, Snow White's no longer the hardworking heart of the tale. Now she's just a bossy figurehead. And the final version of the dwarfs? A chaotic CG. A mess that left everyone confused and no one impressed.
You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story of 7 dwarves living in a cave. What the are you doing, man?
It's a bad thing. I'm not agreeing with it. One, because what they're doing is pretty much you're replacing jobs that people could have as little people. Okay. Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. It's 4 dwarfs.
This film flopped hard. Families stayed away completely. Opening weekend should have been packed with excited kids in princess dresses and parents soaking up the nostalgia. Instead, crickets. That $87.3 million haul was a brutal slap to Disney's face, way below the $150 million they needed just to break even.
And for a movie that they spent well over $300 million on, that needed at least, at a bare minimum, even if you take every positive assumption you could, somewhere between $800 million and possibly up to $1 billion at the box office to break even.
And when you tack on marketing, losses could soar to a staggering $150 million. Ziegler's rude, woke attitude, a massive turnoff. Her constant bashing of the original and her angry Trump outburst, "Screw you all," only made it worse. The feminist rewrite didn't help either. Dads felt pushed aside. Moms missed the magic. "It's not fun," one ex-user posted. "My daughter wanted songs, not speeches." Theaters sat half empty, and merch like the dwarf dolls left untouched, collecting dust on store shelves. Disney's own numbers revealed a 60% drop in family turnout compared to the Cinderella remake. Ouch. Ziegler's "I'm better than this" attitude, mixed with the heavy-handed woke tone, turned it into a total ghost town. No magic, no money, just a giant zero. Well, maybe a 1. That's about where it landed on IMDb. Now Hollywood's whispering, and it's not pretty. Disney's in full panic mode. Rumors say execs are melting down behind the scenes. Layoffs are looming, and remake plans are getting shelved fast. This one broke them, an insider spilled. Now they're scared to even touch the classics. The stock dropped 3% after the premiere, and Ziegler, she's become a pariah. She's got a voice, one casting agent admitted, but she's box office poison. Word is, she's out of Hunger Games too. The sequel's still unconfirmed, but online, her rude, woke streak fits the narrative. She's become a meme. Ziegler, the fairy tale flopper. Could Disney really have stuck with her after the Trump meltdown? Maybe, but it looks too late now. She dragged the whole thing down. Her entitlement, mixed with Disney's forced agenda, turned a guaranteed hit into a cautionary tale. This fairy tale? A total flop, with zero fairy dust. Disney was handed a classic, and Ziegler wrecked it with woke rants and non-stop rude jabs. The original's heart? Gutted. The dwarfs? A confusing mess. The songs? Awful. And the feminist overload? Totally wrecked the mood. Now Ziegler's career is shaking. Disney's licking its wounds, and fans are fed up, furious at the changes, her attitude, and the whole dang disaster. The real question is, will Disney finally learn? This wasn't a happy ending. It was a full-on wake-up call. What do you think? Could this train wreck have been saved, or was Ziegler's mess just too massive to fix? Honestly, I'm nervous about what they'll do to the next classic. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you tomorrow with another video.